Then this one is the wound management one, and in the wound management I'm going to do a whole series on them. I'm discussing right now with a kind of a specialist on wound management, and a lot of stuff that is kind of interesting. We'll discuss a little bit more about it, but one advice that I can give you, all the 4x4s or 2x2s or anything, when they're in the hospital, they need to be sterile, mostly because when we put the in the wounds, we try to get as sterile as we can. But there's always like what we call the clean technique. So basically, we have to be as clean as possible to not introduce any microbes. When they're in the OR, an operation room, then yes, they have to be sterile as much. They have to be sterile so that they don't involve, because they're closing the person, and then it's a little bit different. But in the wilderness, even if your 4x4 is sterile as you can be, the wound that you're doing, you'll never get it as clean as in the hospital or anything like this. So it won't be clean. So as long as your 4x4s and are clean, you're pretty good. So to save space and carry more, take them off their package. Obviously, you know, like not with your greasy hands and stuff, like clean your hands and stuff. But so you see, like here I got about 2 or 3 4x4s. But if I would have kept them in those plastic bags, they tear more, they're harder to keep, and then they're very inconvenient. But now with this, now they're protected. They cannot get wet because of how I prepared them. But I can carry more of them, and so it's a little thing. And when it comes to wounds, you will never get sterile wounds. So to keep them in their package is actually more a waste of space than anything else. So this is 4x4s over here. Over here I got a whole bunch of stuff for scratches, as my minor blisters. So I got like special product on blisters, scrapes, band-aids, and stuff. I'll discuss a little bit more about those dressings, because there's some special, there's butterfly closures as well. There's some, when I do my wound management, because I'm trying to decrease the amount of, like, for example, the 4x4s, there's other stuff that you could carry that are more expensive, but you can leave them, like, for example, 7 days. And in the wound management in hospitals, they're starting to change. Instead of changing dressing every 4 or 2 or 3 times a day, now they kind of leave a dressing over 7 days. I'll discuss a little bit more on the wound management, but so I'm trying to bring that now into kind of wilderness thinking. What can I buy that's more specialized dressing, but now I can leave them forever, and well, not forever, but I can leave them for a longer period of time, and then I'll decrease how much stuff I have to carry on me. Over here, Steri-Strips, as well as I carry, so as you can see, again, all sealed, Steri-Strip, and this piece of it here is a little piece of gauze, and it's called a burn net. And so basically what it is, it's like a little piece of gauze, but it's like tubular. And the advantage of this versus clean is that you can reuse that. So basically I can take it off, change my dressing, re-put it on. And in the wilderness, your dressing will probably get dirty or something. So if you can't have a dressing, then you can change and re-put and change and re-put under. Well, then it's better to have like something like this than changing your whole clean, because then basically your whole backpack would be full of furs. Because when we do dressing change in the hospital, like you should see like the number of supplies we have. So I try to minimize this by bringing stuff that I can reuse to hold it off. So this is the, and again in the wound management I'll discuss a little bit more about those theories. This is awesome stuff. I don't carry, I barely carry any clean anymore. I switched to all that. And basically this is, different companies does it, it's called self-adherent tape. Well, self-adherent, self-adherent, I think, tape. But basically what it does, it says itself, so you see it close. You can buy it for vet. There's the same stuff they use like for horses and stuff, and I think also like guns, supplies and stuff. They have this because they put that on their guns and stuff for camouflage, and it's great stuff. Literally, I've been using this, and it has multiple purposes as well. You can get rid of almost your elastic bands with this because it has it's very elastic. It holds himself very well. And you can reuse it. So basically, when you do a dressing, you can take it off, change it, and put it back over. When I'll talk about wounds, I did a little video on I burned myself on my fingers here, and I left that on for like 4 days for the dressing, and again for the philosophy of leaving the dressing on. And I took I took showers, I put my hands, and obviously I was not in the wilderness, but I took showers, I did everything, and this thing didn't come off. Like, it was protecting. It looked nasty on the outside, but the wounds inside. It's a little bit like if you have like a rain jacket. Doesn't matter what your rain jacket looks like, it can muddy or whatever, as long as you're dry inside. But it's a little bit the same thing with the wounds. If it keeps the whole stuff outside, it can look as nasty as it can be. Who cares, as long as your wound is clean, and it's great stuff. It comes in different sizes, you can see, and when you the advantage too over clean is that it's easier to wrap it up as well. Like for example, when I burn myself in those fingers over here, and when I put my first dressing, it was clean, and the clean kind of fell down because it was like an awkward place and stuff, and so it was very hard. But with this stuff, it's almost like tape, so it's very easy to apply, and it was very easy to apply to myself, and I just love that stuff, so I switched to all that. It's a little bit more expensive if you buy like the medical part, like I think this is like $2 or $3, but if you buy the vet one, which is pretty much about the same thing I heard is relatively cheap, and as you can see, it's sectioned very well and stuff, and it's very easy to use. So that's my other wound stuff. Here I got a kit with abdominal dressing, and so basically it's for bigger wounds. And I got, I think I got like a pair of gloves in there. So sometimes I'll do kits like this. So basically this, if I have like a big abdominal wound, I take this kit, tear it off, put the whole stuff, and I have a pair of gloves. I have everything inside, so I don't need to look for glove and look for the dressing. So my kit is all prepared like this. You may wonder why the tea bag, as you can see over there. Well, tea bag has a been shown, like for example, if you have a wound in the mouth and stuff, it can help a little bit, as not as easy as this, but it has a little bit of clotting effects to it. So I use those for kind of cheap version of this. So if the person obviously is bleeding a lot, I'll use this, but if it's bleeding, it's going to help with this. I put the tea bag on there, then I put my abdominal pad, and then I roll with, this is a triangular, I think, or a bandana that I cut in there. So basically I'll use that. It's my abdominal wound one. Those are benzoylene chloride. I do not use alcohol on any wounds. Alcohol is bad for wounds. First of all, it burns like hell. At the hospital, you clean our hands like all the time with those new gels. And if you ever have like a little scratch, put a little bit of alcohol and you'll understand what I mean. And